What's up, everybody? Justin still here at PAX 8 Beyond. This is a crazy show. There's so many vendors here. We have another one. Colin from Devicie is here. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
So real quick, tell everybody, quick 2-minute, who are you, what is Devicie, and who's your favorite Formula One driver?
Colin Britton, I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Devicie. Devicie is a startup that came out of Sydney, Australia, and was actually born out of an MSP to solve the problem that Microsoft Intune, whilst powerful and very capable, is not the easiest tool to use for MSPs in a scalable manner. And what do I mean scalable? It's like, well, how do you keep consistency? How do you have many tenants, many Intune instances, and be able to manage them simultaneously? How do you get your application patching done and your bespoke applications done in an Intune-centric way, as opposed to using a third-party tool? And bring all that together. So we fill the gaps that Microsoft has left for MSPs and SMB customers to fill, whether that's skill gaps or technology gaps that are there. To your other question, big Formula One fan, have been since I was a teenager, which is a long time ago. And so my favorite current era Formula One driver is Lewis Hamilton.
Nice.
I'm not the biggest Ferrari fan in the world, so the fact that he moved there this year is a little tough to deal with, but I'm still a major
I feel like
fan.
he's having a hard time having moved there also, so
he
that's fair.
He is also having some adjustment, so we're all going through this journey together.
Yeah.
But I got 3 kids, twin boys and an older daughter, and both boys ended up in Formula One.
Oh, wow.
At Williams. Out of kind of my fandom, got them into studying the right things, and then worked for teams. I am definitely a Formula One.
That's awesome. All right, so for Devicie, the whole thing about multi-tenancy, I think that's huge, right? Because Intune, not a multi-tenant platform, to say the least.
Yep.
And I feel like everybody wants multi-tenancy. You're building about efficiency for these MSPs.
Exactly. And, we're also not a button on a button. There's many tools that are just buttons on a button.
Yeah.
You still require all the skills. You still have to know what you're doing with it. But they've kind of created a UX that makes life easier. So there's a bunch of Intune tools like that. Mm-hmm. But what we've done is built an automation platform that is based around pre-built policies, pre-built settings sets that are tested together, that we verify and validate. So that you can go in very quickly and easily and build an Intune instance which is targeted at the kind of customer you've got. So you could have an organization where you've got knowledge workers and then you've got a finance department and you just want a better push to them. As I said, the company came out of Australia. In Australia there is a set of security policies from the government called Essential 8. It's a great program, but 6 of the 8 controls are actually about endpoints. We all know the endpoint is what's most important.
Right.
So, it's not just about having Intune, it's about having secure and productive endpoints. We all know the most secure laptop is one that never gets turned on, right? But the reality is that's not productive. So how do we make people productive, give them productive machines so that when you drop ship a new machine, it's a 15-minute single reboot to have them there, that their Outlook is connected and their browser is there, right? Things like that, which are the capabilities there, but it's hard to actually achieve unless you have the skills in Intune. And we bring that together.
And so in the multi-tenancy, are you able to set policies for multi-clients at the same time?
Yeah, so we have a concept of runbooks. So we have policies and settings, which are setting sets. So rather than lots of individual settings you've got to go in, they're kind of like bundled together. So you're like, this is the stuff for Edge, or this is the stuff for this CIS control.
Right.
And you can then say, well, I want these sets of settings, and I can save them together in a runbook. And any variables that are needed for those settings are then presented to you on a per-tenant basis.
Okay.
Now, Microsoft's always evolving settings. Should we put it that way?
That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah.
We're very close with Microsoft, so we're always as kind as possible, but clear with them behind closed doors. And so we also maintain that, we have a team of experts and MVPs who are constantly looking at what's going on, and then we help our MSP customers understand how that information will impact them. So a certificate change, or some endpoint change that's going on, or settings movement, or new setting that's introduced. We know that stuff, and then we'll say, hey, you should pay attention to this. This is important. This is really important. And save that person having to look at what Microsoft is saying and interpret it into their own business every day, which can take hours. Right?
And on top of which, it could take hours because they have to interpret that and put it into each one of their clients.
Exactly.
And with Devicie, the idea being that it's almost a set it and forget it.
Yeah, it's
modality to a degree.
Yeah, it's an automation.
Yeah.
So again, it's about keeping, get you a secure, productive place and keep you there, right? Which we know is an evolution, and therefore that work is kind of what we bring to play. And then things like application patching, application management.
Right.
That's evolving. Microsoft's announced some new stuff which ISVs will be able to pick up, so that they'll be able to do Windows Update, we'll be able to do common applications, which is super interesting, but that's going to be an evolution.
Yeah.
And again, that's the kind of stuff that we bring to bear. We also support Mac. I know you're a big Mac.
I'm a big
Mac guy. And whilst Intune's probably not the number one platform to go do Mac support, many organizations have a Mac problem, right? And their Mac problem
Just call me. Won't be a problem. Just call me.
But they want to manage their Macs alongside everything else.
Right.
They want to do BYOD devices. They want to do kiosks. They want to do, company-owned. We have a supermarket chain as a customer, and we're doing their checkout registers, right? You can, anything which is an endpoint, whether it's Android, iOS, Mac, or Windows, you can manage with Intune. And that, if you're on that journey, that's the preferred way of going, and we can bring all that to bear.
And to bring it all in one place makes it a lot easier. All right, Colin, where can people find out more about you and Devicie online?
So obviously connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I've been around the MSP space for a dozen years at different companies, and then Devicie.com. So Devicie.
I-E. The Australian spelling.
Yes. Device with an extra I put in at some place in it. .com. And obviously we're also active in the Reddit community, which is always a fun place. We've got an AMA going off next week on Intune with our team, so that's always fun.
That's awesome. All right, thanks so much for being here, Colin. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
More from PAX 8 coming soon.